So I'm gonna continue on from where I left off, y'all. Let's get it. I want to say that this video is for educational purposes only, and it's also for entertainment purposes only. And don't take what I'm about to say, y'all, as actual fact. Do y'all research, do some reading. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. I want y'all to know for sure, if I was in the wrong anywhere, I would not have these people's faces up here like this. So, anywho, y'all, Adrian L. Meering, like I was saying, is the executive director for the Disciplinary Commission and the Commission on Judicial Qualifications, Judicial Nominating Commission. So, the Disciplinary Commission is when you got complaints against your attorney. Judicial Nominating Commission is supposed to be when you have complaints against the judge, y'all. And like I said, when everything took place, y'all, I started filing complaints and grievances on these people for miles. I'm talking about since 2022 up until 2023. Nothing but grievances and complaints. All filed and stamped in the court up until today. And so when filing the grievances, basically, you only can do it on the judge, a prosecutor, and the attorney, y'all. And I'm sending all, the information to Adrian L. Meering, and she's basically denying all of my grievances. She sends me a letter back, y'all, saying that I don't have enough evidence to prove my claim. What? All types of shit. So, in the midst of that going on, this is like 2022 going into 2023, y'all. And it's just for this situation now, carrying a handgun without a license. So in the midst of all of this, I'm like, damn, I need to do more. So y'all, in the midst of like 2021 going into 2022, I gained knowledge to be able to get counsel to file an appeal on this matter. So I filed back into the courts, basically letting them know, hey, I need to get a chance to file an appeal because I was never notified that I could file one, basically. This is 10/3 of 2022, y'all, at that time. At the same time, I'm filing complaints back into the court on the judge, letting them know, hey, this took place in the trial court. Something needs to happen. So October 7th rolls around. I get granted opportunity to file an appeal, y'all. They give me a public defender. You see what I'm saying? So Magistrate Harkey and the public defender office, I guess, they assign me Christopher Kozlinski. So, he files my appeal to the Court of Appeals of Indiana, y'all. Christopher Kozlinski basically, worked against me on this matter where it came down to the point where, I had to file complaints and grievances against him because he refused to meet with me, y'all. And he refused to basically report in the brief what happened in the trial court. He didn't want to do that because, of course, he works with him. When all of this is going down in 2022, I'm filing with all type of government agencies. This is around like October, November, December hits. I'm still filing grievances and doing things of that nature, contacting the South Bend Police Department, letting them know what's going on with the officer. So January 28th roll around, y'all. So we roll into the new year, 2023, y'all. January hits the 28th of 2023. An officer comes on my property, y'all, and starts randomly tampering with my truck out of nowhere. And this officer was Dakota Crimmings, y'all. So I'm in the house sleep, and Dakota Crimmings just pops up on my property, banging on my windows and the doors of my house just randomly, y'all. Starts snatching the plates off my truck. This was in January 28th, 2023. Remember, I just showed y'all at that time, I was going through massive amounts of litigation, y'all. I'm filing paperwork with the disciplinary commission. I'm filing back into the St. Joseph County courts on all these corrupt people that's involved. At the same time, like I said, this officer, y'all, Dakota J. Crimmings and Lieutenant Mike Ingalls, they come on my property, y'all, and take my Land Rover Range Rover for no reason. So I'm going through litigation, filing into the court system, handling, shit on this gun case. Now I got police officers coming to my house, intimidating me, harassing me, taking my property in the midst of while litigation is going on. I really do this, y'all. I just want y'all to know, as you can see, I got my own photos, man. You know, I CSI my own shit. I'm sharing this with y'all because I'm showing y'all what happens when you stand up for yourself, when you go against what's wrong. You see what I'm saying? When you go against what's wrong and you do what you believe is right, this is the type of stuff that happens, and you got to be willing to stand up. You cannot be afraid, y'all. So yeah, right off the gate, this is a legal search and seizure. This is a whole nother case that gets started while I'm already having litigation going on in my previous case. So yeah, this is where Todd Rokita comes in at, because he's the Indiana State's Attorney General. Right after this happened, y'all, 1/28/2023, I filed a complaint with the Attorney General's office. 1/30/2023, y'all see the time. 2 days after they come on my property and take my Range Rover, I jump. I'm heated. To the point, February 6, 2023, I go down to the courts and I let them know, look, this is what's going on. Defendant has contacted the Superior Court Traffic and Misdemeanor Division numerous times over the past week. You see that? Because they was pissing me off, bro. And they still is right now to this day. But we're going to keep on with the story. And after all of that, I'm still having problems with my public defender counsel, Christopher Kozlinski, where I had to put complaints in on this man. You see that? March 17, 2023. It's documented, bro. I'm a historian with this shit. And all through March, I'm just fucking going ape shit. I'm filing complaints. I'm putting complaints in on Robert Michael Swaby, the deputy prosecuting attorney. And Robert Michael Swaby is also the DPA in the city of Elkhart County, Indiana. I'm on your ass. I called your office the other day. You blocked my number. Which, let's go to the trial court transcription, y'all. And here we got the trial court transcription, page 52. Mr. Swaby, Robert Michael Swaby, is this impeachment? That's why I put a complaint on you, bro. Because you know what's going on, bro. But like I said, everybody, these people are crooked. I'm going to line them up because, like I said, I put a complaint in on Robert Michael Swaby. This is from the Disciplinary Commission. We are dismissing your complaint filed April 26, 2023 against attorney Robert Michael Swaby. And this is what Adrian L. Meering said, y'all. This is the letter that Adrian L. Meering gave me. Like I said, the executive director of the Disciplinary Commission and the Judicial Nominating Commission. She said your complaint is largely in the form of conclusory allegations without corroboration of supporting documentation. This is what she said, y'all. This is the these is the people that's running this show. Straight corruption. Once again, in the trial court transcription, the deputy prosecuting attorney who defends the state of Indiana called out, is this impeachment? And she tells me that I have conclusory allegations without corroboration or supporting documentation. Since you have reached a conclusion that the lawyer engaged in misconduct, you either have access to materials to support your conclusion, or else your belief that the lawyer engaged in this misconduct is based upon unsupported speculation, y'all. Do y'all see this shit? I just showed y'all straight hardcore evidence, and this motherfucker told me that I have unsupported speculation. This is fraud. And this is not even everything, y'all. Like, but I've busted shit down like a fucking brick of hard. I want to show y'all this document. This is fraud on the court. Fraud on the court occurs when the judicial machinery itself has been tainted, y'all. Such as when an attorney who is an officer of the court is involved in the perpetration of a fraud or makes material misrepresentations to the court. Fraud upon the court makes void the orders and judgments of that court.